Hey y'all, it's me Alex. Today I have another anti-hauling things that I actually want. I think that this type of video is especially important right now because none of us really, well, I personally don't need to be spending money right now as I'm about to graduate and job prospects for theologians are. So I don't have a huge amount on my wish list, but I do want to anti-haul it anyway because, like, I don't know, makeup isn't an essential right now, so I really don't need any more. And I also just think it would be fun. If you don't know what an anti-haul is, it was created by the amazing Kimberly Clark here on YouTube to combat the mindless consumerism that happens on this here internet. So I don't have a whole lot on my list, as I've said, but this is the tiny little thing, and I would like to anti-haul them anyway. So anyway, here we go. So the first thing that I want to anti-haul is actually something that has been around for a very long time, but it has been in and out of my Sephora shopping cart, which, by the way, I'm anti-hauling Sephora in general because they've really just treated their employees like crap throughout all of this, at least their part-time ones, and I'm very much not here for that. You're a bajillion-dollar corporation, like, be better. But specifically, I need to anti-haul the Huda Beauty Sapphire Mini Palette, and I have kind of uncanceled Huda Beauty in my mind because they've stopped selling mink lashes, and I think they've been relatively unproblematic for a while. I don't think they have as many problems as they used to, so I really do appreciate that they have done better. But I was looking at some of their mini palettes because I don't find any of their large palettes that appealing to spend the amount of money that one of their large palettes would cost, but I look at the Sapphire Obsessions palette, their little blue one, and honestly, I love it so much. I think it is absolutely beautiful, and out of all of them, it is the one that I would want the most, especially because they do have that little pop of lime green in it. I love blue eyeshadow, but I really don't need it. I do have my Certify Affinity 2 palette. I also think some of the shades in the Melt Muerte palette do kind of cover what I want from them. Like, do I love the textures in the Huda palette? Yes, but given that I do already have a lot of blue and green shadows, as much as I do really want to say yes to this, it seems very, very frivolous to me for me to buy that. So it might be something that I get down the road because it is something less expensive and I do want to try Huda Beauty's formula, but I don't necessarily see it as something necessary or that adds something unique enough to my collection that I could justify buying it right now. The next thing on my wish list that I need to anti-haul is the Melt 420 palette. Now, I'm not actually someone who really cares about weed-themed products. I am not a weed consumer, but I don't particularly see anything inherently wrong with it so long as you're doing it safely. That's how I feel about most things. I would kind of liken a weed collection of makeup to like a wine collection of makeup because I see those as kind of on the same level, and you know, I don't really care. I'm not one of those like really straight edge church people like a lot of people are, so I really don't mind, and quite frankly I do often really like the colors of weed themed collections, but that's because I am a grungy green lover, but that's exactly why I don't need this palette, because I think it's beautiful and I love that it's mostly mattes, and it does kind of give me like a good pairing with the Gemini and the Smoke Sessions palette. Like, I think that all pairs very, very well. I also want to tilt my camera down so you can see me a little bit better. There we go, that looks nicer. But because I really love those kind of like grungy greens and mustardy yellows, I really do think that I have a lot of those shades in my collection. I do want to do a whole video where I am duping the vibes of the palette. I don't know if I can necessarily dupe it exactly, but I was going through some of my shadows this morning and I realized I do have a lot of green and brown and mustardy type shades that I could probably dupe out the whole thing. And since it is a $58 palette and I've heard that Melt's formula, well, I've always experienced Melt's formula to be rather hit and miss. I have the Muerte palette and I really love it, but I also have the Radioactive palette and I kind of don't really love it as much as I want to, and I really haven't seen any reviews on the 420 palette either. So right now, spending $58 on a palette that has a lot of shades that I do already own and I would need to find out if other people actually liked it first. I don't think so. Now, next thing I need to anti-haul is the Nomad Cosmetics Studio 54 collection. They came out with some affordable duochrome eyeshadows and I think a couple of like blush highlighter things. And I've seen a lot of my friends get them and they seem absolutely beautiful. Actually, I don't think they're duochromes, I think they're multi-chromes. But when I look at them, they're gorgeous. They're very kind of like pastel type multi-chromes, kind of reminds me a bit of the, I think it was Demita that did like a sugar candy coated collection. I'm not entirely sure what it was. It was something that I had. I was actually kind of interested in. Like, it never restocked when I had the money to buy it, if that makes sense. And Nomad Cosmetics are actually making some very affordable multi-chromes, which has always kind of been my hesitation with multi-chromes because they're so expensive that if I were to get it, I would want to make sure that the formula was absolutely perfect and all of that. And quite frankly, I don't necessarily have a justification for not buying it other than I don't need to be spending money on makeup right now. I will say they are a little bit more on the pastel side and would probably make good toppers for some of the shades that I own, but I'm not a huge pastel person, so I think that if I were to go for a multi-chrome, as beautiful as they are, the thing that is making me lean into it is the fact that they are more affordable than other multi-chromes, but I shouldn't get them just because of that reason, simply because they are more on the lighter pastel side, and while I might use a shadow like that on my inner corner or something like that, I wouldn't get as much use out of it as I think a lot of other people would. So I think I would really love if they did maybe some deeper, darker, smokier multi-chromes. I could see them maybe doing that around the fall, you know, if they decided to make that happen. I would really love that, and if they put those at the same price point, I would really enjoy that. But I shouldn't buy them just because they're less expensive than other multi-chromes if I'm not going to use them as much as I would multi-chromes in a different shade. And also, how many times can I say multi-chromes? I don't know. Now, this is something that I only want because I'm a big ol' friggin' nerd, and that is the Ulta and Black Widow collection. Now, I haven't actually seen anyone review this. I've only seen this via ads on YouTube, because I think they know me very well and know that I'm a big ol' freaking nerd. I love Marvel. I'm very excited for the Black Widow movie. I don't know if it's gonna come out on time or when it'll actually be out, or maybe if it'll come on Disney Plus, because, you know, no one's able to actually go to the movies right now. But I'm very excited for it to happen. I wish it would have happened before, like, Endgame last year, because it feels a little bit late, but I am really excited to see it. I'm always a fan of female superheroes getting their own movies, and I'll be very interested to see a bit more of her backstory. She's not my favorite Marvel character by any means, but I really do like anything Marvel themed. But that is exactly why I need to stop myself from buying this, because as much as I love Marvel and I would enjoy a very well curated Marvel collection, it's boring. Black Widow doesn't have the most exciting look out of all of them. Like, would I love to be able to pull off like the cool skin tight catsuit type of thing? Yes. Do I love, like, in Endgame when she was growing her hair out, to have the like auburn plus the blonde kind of look? I think that was very hot. I love that a lot. But she doesn't have the most exciting colors at all to me, so the entire collection is very, very neutral, which I do think is very on brand for her, but simply due to everything about me and the fact that I'm really not a huge neutral person. Like, I could see the palette going like a little bit smoky. Just because it's nerdy doesn't mean that I need to buy it. Plus, I've never tried any Ulta Beauty eyeshadows. I don't think I've tried that many Ulta Beauty products in general, and I remember they did like a Marvel collection like last year or the year before, and it could have been really good, but it got a lot of bad reviews. And so if that's kind of how they do their collabs, especially if it's not something that I would buy anyway because of the color scheme, given their track record on their formula with Marvel, I don't need it. Next is something that I have been looking at for a while, and it recently came back in stock, and by recently I mean within the last month. And that is the Lethal Cosmetics Alchemy and Hysteria collection. Now, I'm not just going for this by the name Alchemy, even though that is one of the things that led me to actually look at the thing. I do think that it is a very, very beautiful color scheme, and I do really want to make a purchase from Lethal Cosmetics sometime this year, but since it is like shipped internationally to America and it's already retails for like $58, I know the international shipping will be so much more. I know they do have like free shipping over a certain amount for Lethal, but I would never reach that amount, I don't think. So it's very, very beautiful, and it is something that I've had my eye on for a very, very, very long time. I really cannot justify buying anything from them right now, even though I'm also looking at their palette of the week for this week with like the pinks and the purples and the greens and the oranges, and it looks very, very springy, and I love that a whole lot. It's so expensive, and I know it's because they are very good quality shadows. They're from an indie brand, and I've heard nothing but good things about it from my friends. Sadly, very, very sadly, because I am very, very interested in them as a brand, I can't justify spending $60+ on eyeshadow from another country right now. I'm sure I could probably find some dupes for the shades to tide myself over in the meantime. This is something that I do want to purchase down the line, or perhaps make my own palette. I don't know which one I want to do from them. I just want to enjoy their shadows because they look really cool and really pretty. But it pains me because I worry that by the time, like, you know, I do have money and things are like less awful in the world, I feel like by the time that I have the budget for something like this and can justify buying something like this, it's probably going to be out of stock again, because that's just my luck with things, because that's usually kind of like what happened with the Divina Cosmetics, like multi-chromes or whatever. That's similarly to what happened with the Alchemy and Hysteria collection from Lethal Cosmetics, is that it never comes back in stock when I have it in my budget to buy it. And that makes me very sad, because I want to try new things, I want to try new brands, but I think I just have very, very bad luck when it comes to some of the things that I'm interested in. And then lastly, the last thing that I want is more Fenty cream blushes. Now, I'm trying out this little baby right here on my face today that's in Rosé Latte, and I quite like it. This is my second day wearing it. I'm doing a wear test today. You've probably already seen that video. I don't know what order things are coming up in, but here we are. Hi, Editing Alex here. You want to know what order that video is coming up in? That would be never, because I'm a dumbass who about halfway through the day I just decided to take makeup off before filming shit. See, y'all ain't getting that. But I was watching Kinky Sweat's video of all 10 of the shades of this blush this morning, and I shouldn't have, because honestly when I was first looking at the collection, this was really the only shade that I was interested in. I could maybe go for one of the pink shades, the orange one, if I was feeling adventurous, but I'm really not someone who is really out there with blush in the way that a lot of the people who I watch videos of on YouTube do. I'm not sure if that sentence was grammatically correct, but here we are. I didn't think that I needed more until I watched Kinky Sweat's video, and that is problematic. The thing is, a lot of the shades that I was looking at that I kind of wanted after watching her video were more of the pinky shades, and aside from like this shade from ColourPop, I really don't wear a lot of pinky tone blush. I'm a nude blush kind of person all the way. Maybe a purpley wine shade. I could occasionally do something in the peach department if I'm feeling like kind of wild that day, but I really don't deviate from nude blush. And do I want all of the shades now that I know that I really like the formula and I've seen a lot of good reviews? Yes. I don't need them though, because one, it's $20 for this tiny little thing, which I don't think is inherently bad because it does have a shelf life of 12 months. So you do want to have probably a smaller product, and I could definitely see myself going through this in a year. But if I got all, like the other 9 of them, that would be $180. no, I don't need to be spending that money. Like, quite frankly, even if I got 2 more shades of this, that'll be 40 bucks. And I don't know if I could go through all 3 of the shades that I would own at that point if I were to buy more. And quite frankly, while I could definitely see myself going through this kind of shade in a year, I don't know if I could necessarily see myself going through some of the other shades that I'm interested in by the time it expires. And while I don't always pay attention to makeup expiration dates, I pay a little bit more attention to it with cream products just because that can, you know, cause a little bit more breakouts or stuff like that. So I am trying to be good about that this year. So I really, as much as I want to justify buying more of them, I think that's something that I need to wait on and hit a little bit more pan in my current blush. And so that is it. Let me know some of the things that you're talking yourself out of buying right now in the comments below. I'd love to hear from y'all. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Wow, that was very repetitive. Anyway, subscribe down below if you want to see more videos from me, and I will see y'all in my next one. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Bye!